Alright, welcome to an SCS Blender tutorial, and today I'm going to show you how to stretch the W900 my way, and it's fairly easy. I think I'm using Blender 2.78, well 2.79, with the converter picks. The old one, we have to drag the model and extract it convert it. So couple things you're gonna need to have done before you start. You can watch it in my previous video. You're gonna need to extract your SCS base. You're gonna need the material folder. Out of it, you're gonna need your vehicle reflection file or just your generic S and rename it to vehicle underscore reflection dot TGA. And you're gonna need to have the SCS Blender, the SCS W900L converted. So I'm gonna start with the conversion and how to convert it. So as you see, I have it extracted right here. You can find it in your Steam library as a DLC. That would be DLC underscore Kenworth W900S, W900L. This is all we need. So you're gonna find your converter. I think I have it in tool. Yeah, your folder tool, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna just rename your folder that we can find it. So I just call it W900L, and that's gonna be your base that you're gonna be working out of. I'll just put some here just in case I already don't have one. So what you're gonna do in the meantime, you're gonna open converter picks. You're gonna go to bin win x86. If you have a Windows computer, you're gonna drag it to the converter picks and just let it convert. It's gonna pop up on your folder, on your desktop or wherever the folder is located. So if I look down here, you'll have it right here, and that's fully converted. Now what I normally like to do is, as I said, I have my the material from your SCS base, and then we just copy that and then just drop it in here. I think I have it here, material environment .tga. What's the extension on this? Yeah, TGA. So you can convert it in Blender by just going here. So I already have it extracted. I'll show you how to do it. So you're gonna go to UV image editor. You're gonna open. This is just so the chrome and the reflection works properly. You're gonna find your SCS base. I have it extracted on my desktop. You're gonna go to material, environment. You're gonna look for generic S. Then you're just gonna open that, and you're just gonna rename it. I'd recommend just rename the name. Copying right here, and then just rename it here. That way you don't have any issues. Then you're just gonna go to image, save image as. You find your W900L base, material. Well, it doesn't have that folder, so what you're gonna do, you're gonna just copy the folder out from your base, your SCS base. So just copy the folder and just paste it in there. Material, environment. You don't really need the UI, just delete that. So you should have something, you should just have an empty folder. Environment, and just save it as a targa, and you'll be good. Remember to change the name. Not that one. There you go. No. So Control and C, image, save image as. Do this one more time. Alright, now you can import the truck. So you're gonna go to File. Assuming you already have everything set up, you should have a look at this. SCS format. You're gonna find that folder. So W900L tool. underscore exp. You're gonna set your current project base path right here. Preserve the path for export. That means when you export, you don't have to change the path inside the object tab, or is it the scenes tab? One of those tabs. You don't have to change it, so it automatically exports that folder that it was originally imported from. So you're gonna go to vehicle, truck, Kenworth W900l, and then you're gonna go to truck.pim. You're gonna go to SCS import. Now, depending on how fast your computer is, it may take a while. Well, normally it takes like 2 to 3 minutes for me, or even less. I don't know. I run a Ryzen 90 something. I remember. Now you should have something like this, and these errors are okay. You don't have to really worry about these as long as the material NV files are there. And if you go into material mode, you should see the color of the cab, and it should look like it's been AO baked, and all the materials should be present. Now, what I normally like to do is I press A to highlight everything and hide. Now, the method I'm going to show you how to stretch the truck is fairly easy. It's going to be one of the easiest ones, as well as this truck. Even if SCS updates it, you won't really have any problems because you're not really editing the original truck PMD. You're making your own. So basically it's looking for the chassis, but it's not going to be looking for the chassis inside the original SCS. So even if they decide to change everything around, the most you probably do is miss a couple models because they changed around, but it will originally work. It won't crash your game. Now you have something looking like this. Now what you want to do is you're going to click the truck origin right here, or root node, and you're going to go over to the object tab, and then you're going to go down here. So what we're going to do is you're going to look down here. You're going to see all these variants and special parts. Now we're going to work out of we're going to stretch the chassis long one. Now if you look right here, you're going to see all the parts right here, that are these over here, that are linked to the chassis long one. So what we're going to do is we're going to delete everything that's not selected. So everything that's not selected, the selection look is dark gray, so these are selected. So if you look right here, we only have 4 parts selected to that variant. All these are for the other variants over here. So you can do it the long way, where you go through and select them automatically right here and delete them, or you can just do it the fast way by just turning them on and just reading right here. So they're automatically in line. So if you look right here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you have a SCS part that's linked to it. So if you look up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what I normally do is I just turn them on. So 5 has been selected, and I can go put the cursor over here and just click randomly, and I'll press A and X and delete. Now I can go over here and I just press the X 5 times, and that will remove these SCS parts right here that I don't want in this original model. We only want the chassis to be in the model. So I can just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you see fuel 1. Now if I click fuel 1, this part belongs to the original chassis long variant. So we're gonna skip that. We're gonna turn that off. We don't want to have it on. We're gonna select chassis 6x2 and then cabin B. So we're going to turn those on. I'm going to press A as usual, X and delete, and then I just 1, 2, and then as you can see 6x4 underscore L. Keep in mind, sometimes my headphones, I'm using wireless headphones, sometimes they tend to cut out, and that's kind of annoying. So as I said, remember, make sure these are all turned off. Now, as I said, chassis S. So if you look 1, 2, 3, 4, four, 5. My headphones keep timing out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can go 7 down. So after chassis 6x4L, so I'm gonna go to 7. So 7 S. So turn this one on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. So now it should look like this. We're just gonna press A, X, and delete. And if you want to do other work to the truck, you can also have it. You can also have it right here. Won't really affect it because what I did in my other W900L, which I stretched, I added the parts to this .pmg, the nodes, the root nodes, and the nodes, the model locators in this model right here, and then I just added them separately. So we're gonna delete 7 from here. So 1, 2, 3, just yes. Alright, so we should have 4 right here. Now we don't need any of these variants right here, so everything under chassis long 1 should be deleted. We don't need anything else. So we're gonna go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. We deleted 14 variants from this file. So this is what you should have. Now if you turn the variant on, this is what you should see right here. Now we're gonna go over here. We're gonna turn off all the collisions and leave all the nodes. So all the collisions start from advanced coupling 4 down all the way down to CL underscore 12, and these are the collision boxes. These are what registers damage to your truck, as well as the advanced fifth wheel. When you're connecting to your truck, register to your trailer, it registers all of that stuff. Now there's a couple of things I normally like to do when I stretch a W900L, because I'm eventually going to make them an option. Is 1, get rid of the step box and get rid of the half fender and get rid of the deck plate and get rid of this European headache rack. Now you can just select the part right here, go into 3, press 3, then 5, make sure you're in right orthographic view. Now I press tab to go in edit mode, and then I press A to highlight. Well, no, keep in mind there's a part right here we don't want to delete, so A. Make sure you're in wireframe mode by pressing Z, or you can go down here to select wireframe mode. Object mode and edit mode you can select from here. We're going to edit mode because we're editing the model. Now we're going to press C and hold the middle mouse button down right over the section right here to deselect the headlight bezel. Normally I like to take this off and make my own light box and all that stuff, but we're going to keep it. So we're going to press X, delete vertex. Then we're going to go back into object mode. We're going to do the same for the shadow. Now this one is a little complex because they're so close together and everything is here. So what you can do is just press C and then just hover over these sides. Make sure you're in face mode. That's this box right here. This is vertex mode, edge mode, face mode. So we're going to go into face mode, then we're going to select all the faces that belong to the deck plate. Sometimes they don't want to select because they're separated. So it only works if the models are connected, like the entire model right here, because sometimes when you use an edge split, it basically splits the edge as it's saying. So I'm going to delete vertex right here. We're going to go in side view. I'm going to select parts of the fender. I'm going to press Control and L. That's to select the models, then delete vertex. Now we're going to edit this one right here. This one has to do with the fuel tanks. We're going to go and press 3, side view. We're just going to select the toolbox, all the parts that belong to the toolbox. C, Control and L, delete vertex. Now we're going to go back into object mode again, and we're going to do this for the shadows for the fuel tank parts. Oh, also I left that one out. I may do an original suspension because I don't think I've seen this on a W900 for cab suspension. Alright, so if you didn't do what I just did, you can skip out this part, but to me this is what I like to do. If you like it, you can keep it, but I don't like the SCS fender. They look worn out. And if you're making a show truck, that's not it. That's not the way to go. Now, what I like to do next is I like to create a node that is parallel to this box right here, because this box is going to get moved. Now, that node is going to help us to move all of these locators right here and make them line up in the original position that they were. So what I normally do is I click truck right here, then I normally just hit a random spot right here. I'm gonna go down here and gonna go to 3D cursor. So pivot point is gonna be at 3D cursor, and what that is when I add the model in, I'm gonna be able to move it. No, I'm gonna be able to move it, but it also is gonna spawn right here at the cursor. At the cursor. So I'm gonna press Shift and A, add STS object, and I'm gonna do model locator. I normally just press RZ 180. That's to rotate it. Why is it not rotating? Oh well. Oh, yeah. I forgot to hit truck, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Now we're just gonna make sure that it's parallel to the box. So you're gonna want to zoom in using your mouse wheel. Right here should be fine. Now the next part is we're gonna join all of these parts right here, and then we're gonna go into edit mode and we're gonna move them. Now you're probably wondering what's gonna happen if you join all of them, how you're gonna separate them. Well, you can separate them through materials, so that's not something you should worry about. Now we're gonna select there are three parts here. So the frame, the suspension, and then you have the shadow. So what you can do is you just select one, hold shift, select the other, shift again, and then you should select all three. Then you're going to press Control and J to join. You're going to go into edit mode. Then you're going to go to wireframe mode by pressing 0 going down here, or tab to go in edit mode, or select it down here. Now we want everything, all the faces, all the vertices between the center point right here to be selected. So you're gonna press B, or you can use C and then just highlight all of it. I recommend going vertex mode in my opinion. Vertex mode is easier. And you're either gonna do C and then hold the middle mouse button and select all of it, or you can hot press B and use the selection box. So either way. Now I'm gonna probably have the frame around this right here. Depending on how much stretch you want, you can go crazy. You can do anything you want. There's nothing stopping you. That's the beauty about modding. So I wanted to go right out here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select my cursor right here because we already have it set to cursor, 3D cursor. Then I'm gonna pull it out and have it right there. Now we're gonna go back into object mode. We're gonna leave it as is for now, and then we're going to wireframe mode. We're just gonna hide this. We don't need this anymore. Now we're gonna move these nodes right here. Well, you're actually gonna need to turn on the collisions for the advanced coupling. So these three right here needs to be turned on. So we're gonna have them right here. Then we're just gonna press B, B, and select all of these right here, and then we're gonna look for this node right here, the main one. So figure out where it is. That's this node right here. You can see it's right behind the light cover, so which is perfect. So as I said, we're gonna go to B and hold shift and select all of it. Now keep in mind, keep an eye on this node right here. I didn't select it. Keep an eye on this node right here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn back on all the chassis parts as visible. So you're gonna look over here, you're gonna see the eyes right here. The eyes right here. Like the axe. Yeah, my headphone timed out again. No worries. Now just make sure that you're not selecting the front axles and anything. You don't need anything up here. As I said, everything we're working on is behind this line right here. Now it's time to line everything up. So remember that node I told you to look for? That's where it comes in handy. We're gonna put our cursor right out here. You can use your mouse wheel to scroll to zoom. We're gonna leave it right here where it's parallel. We want it as closely as possible. You're probably doing a better job at this than I am. And you're pretty much done. Now, material mode. Now we're gonna remove all of the stuff that we need to remove. So there's 3 materials right here. Now we're gonna do a separation. Now you're wondering how you're gonna do all of that stuff. You're gonna go into edit mode and you're gonna press A to deselect everything. Make sure nothing's selected. And then we're gonna select a random material right here. So we're gonna do shadow, and then we're gonna go to select, and that will select all the materials for the shadow. Then we're gonna press P to separate selection. We're gonna go back into object mode. We're gonna select that separation that we did, and then we're gonna delete all the materials that is connected to it below it. We don't want any errors. I don't think it will cause any errors, but I'd strongly suggest you remove it. Now we're gonna do the same thing again. So this time we're gonna go to the chassis clear. So we're gonna select that, and then we're gonna go to P, separate selection. We're gonna go to object mode. We're gonna select it again. We're gonna remove the shadow. We're gonna remove this material, the suspension material, and that's good right there. Now you don't need to do that for the suspension. So you can click the suspension. Now we're gonna need to remove the other two from that file right there, and you're pretty much done. And if you want to add fenders or any material, any nodes or any other accessory parts you want to have as options on it, you can go ahead and add them right now. I'll show you how to do that. Just randomly select the location. Say I'm doing a fender, I'll add it right here, and then I'll go make sure truck is selected. Then I'll add a model locator. I don't know, make sure truck is, why is it not doing it? Model locator, oh well, it doesn't want to do it, so I'm just gonna rename this to like fender. Caps as well, because the Blender always changes it, but you don't want any errors, because sometimes the SCS decides to just change some random stuff at any given point. We're gonna pull that over to truck, and then we're gonna select the file that we want it into. So we're gonna want it in chassis base. So make sure you're in our objects tab and go down to parts list. Now select fender, make sure fender is selected, and then we're gonna assign it to one of these parts right here. So we're gonna assign it, and that's pretty much it. So now you can import your fender, you can line it up with this node right here, and then you can export it and all that stuff, good stuff. Now you're pretty much done here. Now what I like to do, since I don't like to corrupt anything, I normally like to make a newer folder on my desktop. And then how I go by doing that is I normally go into my w900l base. So I normally like to copy this file right here. Well, I like to copy everything, so I don't like to have anything corrupted. So I'll go into new folder 3 and I'll paste it right here. Then I'll go into vehicle, truck. We don't need upgrades, so we can delete that folder. We can delete everything. I mean, we delete the interior and the AI, and truck PIT, PIM, PIC. We don't need those stuff. We just need the materials, but also the wind, the wipers, and all that stuff. We don't want to replace anything. The reason why I actually want you to replace the materials, so anything that is ending with that PIM, PIT, PMG, all that stuff, we're gonna remove them. The reason why I'm saying do this, because sometimes SCS wants to upgrade their stuff, update their trucks, and then sometimes they change the materials around, and then that kills your mod. So if they do that, then you'll always have your materials right here. You don't have to downgrade and then get all that material stuff in. So that's something I like to do. No, and then what you can do after too is, after you export it, you can just delete all of them, but just make sure everything is there. Sometimes the Blender tool, when you export the material, it wants to tell the game, well, it exports it as blank, the material as blank, that there's no material inside. So as I said, just delete all this stuff, the model, and just leave the materials right here. I mean the textures, and the .tobjs, they're kind of important. Just leave them as is, and then we have everything set up right here. Now we can go ahead and export. Now we're going to go into our scenes tab, and then we're going to change our current base path from the sorry the SCS blend, the conversion, and then we're going to go set it to number 3, new folder 3 that I have, or whatever folder you want to create, and then we're going to set our export path. Normally it's already pre-selected, but sometimes it does not want to do that. But I already have three mods that I'm working on, so I'm gonna just go and just delete these stuff right here. Well, I'm gonna just send this to my documents. That way it doesn't interfere with any of my work I'm currently doing right now. 25 minutes, wow. I wish I could make shorter videos. Alright, so we're gonna go to export. We're just gonna delete these for me. You're not gonna have this if you have it set up. I'll just delete these. Now you can go ahead and just select your export path, and then you're gonna go down and you're gonna hit export. Now you can ignore all of these right here. The only way I'd say you would have an issue with these right here if you have custom light nodes and stuff like that, but these are just using the default, so they're just gonna export as is. Now we're gonna go to convert the current SCS project. Now we're all done. No issues apart from those, which are no big deal in my opinion. Now you're gonna go to export. You're gonna go to your rsrc file. You're gonna open that up, and you should have something looking like this. Now now we need to work on the definition aspect of this. Oh, I think I did something wrong. Yeah, go ahead and rename this from something else. Just call it anything you like. I'm gonna call this new underscore frame. If you don't do that, then it's gonna overwrite the SCS w900l truck, and then you're gonna have issues. And because I already exported it, I'm gonna have to go back to my new folder 3. I'm gonna go to vehicle, truck, Kenworth w900l, and I'm gonna remove this right here, because we're gonna definitely have crashes if we do that. So that's how we're gonna do it. So we're gonna go back, we're gonna export, and we're gonna convert. Then we're gonna go back over to here, and everything should be the same. Now we're gonna go find our w900l that we extracted. So we're gonna go to def. We're just gonna copy the entire def folder over. So you should have it in your base. This is your base right here, your new w900l base. Just delete the materials. There's nothing in there anyways. Make sure you have your automat and your materials are set. You're gonna go to vehicle, truck, Kenworth. No, you're gonna go to def. You're gonna delete these two folders right here. Not important. We don't want to overwrite anything that we don't need to. Truck. We're gonna delete everything except for the truck, and everything except for Kenworth w900. Delete. We're gonna leave chassis and accessory. Those are the two folders we'll be working on. Now you're gonna want to go through all of these right here and double check to see which one has anything to do with the chassis. So from my experience of doing this, there's only two files that has anything to do with the chassis, and that's the exhaust and the mud flaps. So being that we already deleted the fenders, you're gonna have an issue where you're gonna have parts of the mud flap just levitating. Normally we just edit the mud flaps right here. We can edit them, or we can make new mud flaps and all that stuff with them not being there, so I'm not too worried about that. So you're just gonna press Control and A. We're gonna leave exhaust and mud flap alone for now, and then we're gonna come back to it after we Alright, timed out again. So we're just gonna delete all of these right here. And we're gonna leave chassis long, and then we're just gonna rename this. So I normally like to just add chassis, long, 12, and just leave it as it is. Then I normally just like to highlight, copy it. Then I go into long 12 and I replace long 1 with long 12, and just make sure everything is here. Now this program is pretty nice. I recommend downloading it. It's called Notepad++. I set it to automatically recognize any SII files and read it as a Notepad++ file. But if you download it, it's not gonna look like that. You're gonna right click on it. You're gonna hit edit with Notepad++, and you should have this set up right here. Now there's only one thing we really have to change in here, and that is the model and the collision location. We kept the variance the same, so we don't really need to change anything right there. And if you want to actually create another chassis in here, it's fairly easy. All you have to do is just select all these parts right here, or select this variant right here, and then just turn them on, duplicate, and then just assign them to that variant. Now remember, we changed it from looking for the chassis into the truck folder. So now whatever we name this right here, new frame, remember, keep in mind, just pay attention to where this is exported, because this right here is pretty much the same thing right here. So it's telling you tell the files where to find that chassis. So we're going to replace the /truck with new frame, /truck with new frame, and you're pretty much done. Now we're going to copy long 12, and then we're going to save it, and that's pretty much it. We're done with the chassis. Now we're going to go back over to the mud flaps and the exhaust. Now there's only a couple we need to change, so we're gonna go to close all. We're just gonna close all of them, and then I think 1 and 3 are the ones we need. If you look at 4, you're gonna see short. We're not editing the short chassis, so we're gonna leave that alone. So we're gonna hold here and here, and we're gonna delete them. Now this is what you should have: 1 and 3. Then you're gonna go into mud flaps. You're gonna delete all the ones that says S. Delete those. Now you're gonna highlight everything, edit with Notepad++. I'll say file close all, because I think we have one. It still saves the last thing you're working on inside of it. So we're gonna go edit with Notepad++. We're gonna go over here, exhaust, edit with Notepad++. Now I normally just copied long 12 right down here, and I select the last chassis that we have right here, Control and C. Then I press enter, Control and V, and then I copy long 12. I replace this right here, long 2, 6x2, whatever. Just replace that. Make sure there's quotation there and a dot there, else you'll have issues. You can go ahead and delete that now. Now what you're gonna do is you're gonna highlight everything right here, Control and F. Then you're gonna go over to replace, and then you're gonna go right here again, highlight everything, Control and C. You're gonna go down here and then Control and V, and then you're gonna go to replace all in all open documents. You're gonna hit OK, and you're gonna have all these lines right here, and you have the long 12 automatically inserted. Now we're gonna go back to the one that we're gonna work on because it has a double line. I don't think it will cause an issue, but we want to keep our work clean, so we're gonna remove that, and that's what you should have. And then you're gonna go to save all, and you're pretty much done. That's what you should have. Now we're going to go back into our base. In the export folder, we're going to highlight everything. We're going to right click. We're going to go to add to archive, and then we're going to go to, we're just going to call this .ses, and then we're going to make sure that it's set to zip and it's set to store. If you normally change it, you're going to have a new extension, so keep that in mind. Just remove that. The reason why you want to go with store, because some chances are you're probably going to want to add engines and stuff like that. When it comes to audio and you have compression, you normally have an issue. So just make sure it's on store. If you're not going to put any audio file for it, in that mod, by all means compress it. So I normally use normal, but that's enough right there. Now we're going to go to copy that. We're going to go to my documents, American Truck Simulator mods. We're going to paste that right here. I did a couple. I think one of these are not working correctly. I think this one, that's the smallest one. But now let's open American Truck Simulator and see if I actually did it. because sometimes I do it instead. Now mod manager, we're just gonna add new frame. Gonna hit confirm. I'm running 2 frames, so I'm wondering if it's gonna cause an issue with the game. Let's hope not. Yep, doesn't cause an issue with the frame that I already stretched, so that's a plus right there. We're gonna go to vehicle browser, we're gonna go to truck browser, we're gonna go to the Kenworth W900L, and I'm gonna like to set my truck up. Oh, so we're gonna have an issue. Alright, so let me show you the issue. It's not something serious, it's finding the chassis that's the problem. So what you're gonna do is go back into use 7-zip to open archive. Well, you need to download this file. You're gonna go to def, you're gonna go to vehicle, truck, chassis, long 12, and we're gonna give this chassis a new name. So I'm gonna call this new long, and then I'm gonna change this to 300 gallons, info 150 to 150. Tank size, I don't remember what the conversion is, but you can Google that. I think it's liters to gallon. I don't remember the conversion, so you can change that right there and you're good to go. But just do it as this one. It's going to be easier to find. It's not really 300 gallons. It's going to be like the same 220 or something like that. Just save that, close that, okay, and now it should be easier to find. Now we're going to go back over to our vehicle browser. We're going to go to our truck browser. We're going to find the W900L, and we're going to go to chassis. Yep, I know. Here it is. So a new long 300 gallon, and that's the stretch W900L. The only issue is you're really gonna have is this right here. That's something to do with the UI, and I don't normally mess with it. To me, it's no big deal. But you can find the model that's responsible for this, import it, add an edge split, and then move it down to where the axles are. But no big deal. This has something to do with the mud flaps, I'm guessing. Since I moved it down and moved it from the fenders right here. But as I'm saying, create your own model and you're good to go. Now everything's functional, so you can still, let me double check and see if I didn't. I probably did something dumb. Nope, the collisions are still there. Yeah, that's good. Now everything should be good. Now you can have it, now you can edit it from there. Just like, subscribe, comment, and tell me what you want to see in my videos, expanding this W900L, and I'll see if I can do it for you guys. Fun things to note, I am not that great when it comes to animation. I can barely help myself, so animations are out of the question. But adding parts and editing stuff, that's my specialty. Making parts, I can. Sometimes I make trailers. I kinda been busy for the past couple of years. I recently moved from the Caribbean to America, so it's been a lot hectic. Now I have some free time on my hand. I can go back into modding. So just let me know what you want to see in my videos, and I'll help you out.